This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the post-apocalyptic horror 28 Days Later. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh my god, what a fucking doozy.
This is the second time I've watched it this year. This is one of your favorites, or is your favorite?
This is like top 3 favorite horror movies, I think.
Interesting.
Genuinely, like, as a kid, this one affected me. I don't know how else to put it besides, like, I should not have just been allowed to have access to public television as a child because they put this shit on there.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, my first exposure was hiding behind a couch and watching Scream 3, and so that kind of embedded itself into me a little bit. We've talked about, though, my first real exposure was Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was one of my first, too.
But I was like 11. How old were you when you saw this?
Oh, honestly, I don't even remember. Because I remember my brother couldn't fall asleep without, like, something on because of his ADHD as a child. But, you know, my parents catered to me, too. And as the younger brother, I was like, I want some shit, too. So they were like, all right, fine, like, whatever. They gave me a TV. And I remember seeing this and, like, I don't know, everything about it freaked me out. You literally open up to this, like, dark-ass, creepy laboratory. And, like, these videos of, like, this fucking, like, riots and, like, people going crazy and, like, you know.
The hangings.
Yeah, hangings and, like, all sorts of just, like, violence and shit. And then, like, it fades out to, like, this happening on all these screens. And all these screens being observed by this chimp that's strapped to a fucking table. And you're like, what the fuck?
That is very fair. I always forget that is the actual opening scene and not Jim waking up in the hospital, right? Every time. The chimp's name, IRL, is Johnny, and I think that's fantastic. And he's chilling. His handlers are right outside of shot, making sure he's okay, so don't worry about the chimps. No chimps were harmed in this movie. They were all very well taken care of.
That's good.
Yeah, because I always worry about animals in movies, especially older movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And, you know, they're not being super well taken care of, but everything I saw was like, no, Johnny was fine. He was one of the, like, only working chimps at the time.
Yeah.
You see it, right? Chimp strapped to the bed or table, whatever, getting fed information, which gives me, like, Clockwork Orange vibes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Like they're brainwashing him to be aggressive was my first thought about it, right? And then the animal activists come in and they're like, what are they doing to you? And, like, from what I know about PETA, is that the one?
I don't know.
The super crazy...
Yes, that is
them.
Yeah.
This is shit I could see them doing, especially with the scientists being like, they are infected, please don't let them out, and them being like, infected with what? And he's like, they're gonna try and kill you, man. Yeah. And they're like, no, we're gonna free them. And then bitch gets bitten right off the bat, gets dead, well, quote unquote, dies, gets infected. And they're all freaking out. And I'm like, this is your fault. Like, you did this. He specifically said, don't let them out. It's gonna be bad, and they're like, we don't believe you.
If I looked at a dude and said, what are they infected with? And he said, rage, I'd be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should take a step back. Like, let's talk about this first. But no, these dumbasses just jump into it and let the fucking monkeys out.
Does it do the standard 28 Days Later thing here? Is that just at the end of the movie? Or do we...
Yeah, no, it
does it here?
Yeah, it, like, fades out after, you know, like, the room falls silent, and then it's just, like, the monkeys still in the cages, like, flipping out, but, like, you can tell that everyone in the room is dead, you know?
That's right.
And then it fades out, and then it gives you the 28 Days Later prompt. And you're like, ooh, we're in this shit.
Go to Jim, our poor naked boy coming out of a coma.
Oh, yeah, dude. Big old corn cob and Sergeant P, you know, just all out there for the world to see.
My only thing with this is I hate when they show people getting up out of their hospital beds. Ones I have a whole thing with. If he's in a coma, he should have, like, feeding tubes, ? Or, like, something, breathing tubes. He has none of that. He just has an IV in his arm.
He should also be gowned.
Yeah, okay, so we brought this up too when we were watching. Why is he naked?
Yeah.
There is no coma surgery I know of where this homie should be naked.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he should be in an operating room with all the stuff around him, but he's clearly in a hospital room, not an operating room.
Yeah.
And he's naked.
Well, he's also got half of his head shaved, so you're like, okay, obviously, like...
They were doing, like, brain surgery or something. But Was that, they definitely weren't doing it then. Was he just like, were they cleaning up from surgery and bringing him back? But he still would have had clothes on.
Yeah, it's just such...
A gown. He would have at least had a gown.
I think it definitely makes sense from, you know, like the writer's perspective to shoot it that way, because like if you were to wake up butt-ass naked in an empty hospital, like you know, it's all fucked up, there's like trash and shit everywhere, you know, no one's around, like that would, I feel like that is an extra layer to it.
That's fair.
You know, where you feel like
naked and alone.
Naked and, yeah, like so like to your core, like I have nothing on me, you know, like I'm just so exposed and like...
That's fair. From a writer's perspective, yes, it makes sense. From a medical perspective or a person perspective, no, it does not make sense. And then he just rips out his IV, and I fucking hate that shit. Have you ever had an IV in you?
Yes.
Are you just gonna rip that shit out?
No.
Oh. And then he wraps his arm, because he finds his scrubs, he throws on his scrubs, and he wraps his arm. It's not where the IV was. It's not where an injury was. He just gets some random ass gauze and wraps the entire thing around his forearm. Then it goes away. By the time he gets changed when he goes home, it's gone. Yeah. So what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm too wrapped up in like the fact that like he even gets out of the hospital and like the streets are empty and there's just like shit everywhere.
Those were some killer scenes.
Yeah,
man.
dude,
like,
those shots, like especially for that time, like I know that they had like, I shouldn't say there were issues, but like it was a big deal for them to pull off that kind of shot. And you're not wrong. Back then.
They had issues. They had to hire students to barricade off areas because they filmed at like 4 a.m. to like 6 or something, where commuting would be minimal. Mm-hmm. And they set up little barricades, and then they set up beautiful women at the barricades to be like, I'm so sorry, sir, you can't come in, we're filming, is that okay? And then the angry men then flirted with these women and they were fine. The director literally had his daughter set up in a barricade.
That's insane. And
he's like, and it works, like, not to be sexist, but that shit works.
No, and I mean, that's kind of crazy, and it's funny because we'll touch on a bit of that theme later when it comes to the movie.
Oh, yeah, which, like, I didn't even think about that, but that totally leans...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it leans in later into the movie.
Yeah.
They did have at least one mishap with shooting the bridge scene when he's on the bridge. With all the debris and they're floating around. Mm-hmm. Apparently, like, a civil worker or something came onto the bridge and started cleaning it up. And they're like, we're filming a movie, can you stop? And he didn't believe them that they were filming a movie.
Oh my god.
So that was, like, the biggest issue that I saw was, like...
They just had to film around this dude, like, cleaning up the bridge?
Yeah, I don't know if they were able... Like, it didn't go into depth more because, like, that's the funny part, right? Like, so when they're talking about the situation, they don't really talk about what happened after.
That's so funny.
But, yeah, no, all of those shots, no CGI, nothing. Yeah. Like, that's just how it was.
Empty, like, London, you can see the fucking
Big Ben
and like
other landmarks in London that I don't know what they're called.
But like the fact that it's completely empty, you know, and he's even like shouting out
hello.
Yeah, like
he's shouting, he's screaming for people and nothing. And like, could you imagine, because we also live in a very big city, could you imagine walking downtown and there being no one?
I would panic. I would
He's so calm for the situation.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I mean, especially, homie does what I think I would do if I like, so he, you know, he walks up to this like giant billboard. Yeah, I get it's like a circular billboard that just has like thousands of like missing papers and, you know, like posters and like creepy notes and shit, like
all over it.
You know, all over it, which... And
did you notice the creepy kid drawing? This time? I didn't see it on my first walk.
The, like, mother and...
It says mom and dad, and then there's dad with a fucking gun shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the first time I caught that, and it makes it better because, like I said before this, a production assistant made every single one of those posters. Took her 3 months to do that, and so she made mom, dad shoots everything.
Just, like, bored one night, like, couldn't even figure out what to draw. Just, you know what?
Crayons.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh my god.
Oh, but it's so good because it works because you're like, oh my god, like what the fuck, you know? And like that in and of itself lets your mind like set up backstory in a way.
It does.
You know, because you imagine like, okay, well, that kid obviously witnessed his dad shooting, like, a bunch of people in their house, but this kid's alive to be able to draw this, so they must have escaped, and, like,
how did it end up
given this kid crayons and paper to be like, you just focus on this while we, you know, figure out the fucking apocalypse. Like, you know, like, it's simple shit like that that can, like, take it even further, which I really like.
It was inspired by billboards from one of the big China earthquakes.
Damn.
Yeah, which makes it even, like, hit home
That's
harder,
so
right?
scary, too. That's fucking terrifying, like... Because, I mean, you see that, and, like, I don't know what runs through your head, but, I mean...
Primal fear, man. Like,
yeah, it's just,
like, for me, the first natural disaster in my head that I can remember is Hurricane Katrina, right? For, like, U.S.-based. And, like, just thinking of that situation, but, like... even bigger, right? Because it's the entirety of the UK, England. Yeah,
I think the entirety of the UK.
Right, and at this point we just know it's just London currently, like, right? We don't get to see the rest of it, but later we get told it's, like, the whole UK. But it's just, like, the primal sadness and fear that goes through you, and, like, the inability to do anything about it, right? Like, you want to help, you want to do something. When you see a missing poster or something like that, right? Your instinct is like, oh, I'm going to share this so other people can see it, like, maybe someone will know something. But you see thousands of them, and it just, like, the shutdown of I can't do anything. Yeah.
Well, and that's what prompted me to say, you know, like, Jim's next move is exactly what I would do after, you know, seeing that. I would go straight to a fucking church, because I'd be like, okay, well, I either need to, like, find a priest, or I just need to start praying myself. But, like...
coming from non-religious folk, yeah, where else would you go? Because I was trying to think, I was like, what would be my next move? He was already at a hospital. The hospital was empty and not safe, right? Yeah. As far as you can tell. Yeah. So
you don't see any cops. You see, like, empty cop cars that you're walking by, so you're like, okay, there's no fucking police around, at least not, like, around me right now. So, like...
So next thing, what's the next safest place? And in your mind, I go even religious. Go find a fucking church, because there's usually at least a pastor or someone at the church to talk to, a father, whatever they're called. He walks into the church, and the end is fucking nigh. Extremely
fucking nigh.
And he walks into the chapel with bodies on bodies.
Oh my god, there's, like, piles of bodies just laying all over the floor, and it's, like, really ominous, and just, like...
who are also students.
Oh my god, really?
Yes.
Just, like, got a bunch of students to fucking go lay on the floor.
He said they couldn't afford more extras, so he got students there with a promise of free tea.
Oh my god, that's fucking amazing.
So, there are so many students in this film and behind the scenes helping with this film, and that just, like, the duality of what's happening behind the scenes for the movie is fantastic, because the community of coming together to make this movie using students.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Especially because, like, they do such a good job. Like, in that scene when he, like, calls out to the, like, pile of bodies, the two guys just sit up and stare at him. They don't even, like, make noise. They don't even, like, start walking or sprinting towards him. They just stand and stare with their mouths open. That fucking terrified me as a kid too, because, again, like, you're told that this is, like, they're infected with rage. First of all, what the fuck does that even mean? Yeah. Second of all, like, you don't know how that, like...
we haven't seen it in action yet, besides with the chimps, right? And, like...
yeah, you don't know how these quote-unquote zombies will act. Like, I don't even know if you can call them zombies, because they're not, like...
no, and that this will come into play later, and I have more questions about this that I was going to ask you later once we get more into the film.
Fair enough.
But, so I've just been calling them infected, because we had talked about the rage virus and how the virus itself wants to spread, right? And so... I've just been going with infected.
Yeah, infected is better, because they're not necessarily zombies. They don't want to, like, eat your flesh. Anyways, you hear, like, banging through the door, and, like, the priest comes out of the door and starts, like, walking after him.
Hella infected.
Yeah, insanely infected, twitching like crazy.
Oh yeah, his twitches and his erratic movements.
That freaked me the fuck out.
But the thing is like, this makes me believe that Jim's character is hella religious, because he's like, Father, like, the entire time, all full respectful, and then hits him with his bag and is like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Like, the Catholic guilt setting in of, oh my god, I just hit the father.
Oh my god. I mean, if I hit a priest upside the head with a bag full of soda cans, like, full soda cans, unopened sodas, I would initially feel bad too. But then, like...
he does run. That's
he does sprint away, too. And, like, he's getting chased by, like, the rest of the infected that, like, popped up in the chapel. You know, like, they started finally chasing him. As he's going down the road, all of a sudden, like, it's like a bunch of flashes between, like, him and then the the infected behind him. And then, like, in between those flashes is, like,
Molotov cocktails?
You see a Molotov cocktail getting lit, and you're like, what the fuck? And then, like, you see a gas mask, and, like, you're like, oh my god.
It just amps up.
But it's so easy to miss, too. Like, if you don't pay really close attention, you will not know that there are people, like, going to assist him shortly until it's already happening, like, until the flames are, like, coming out of nowhere. Because I remember watching it as a kid and being like, why are there flames in the background? You know, like, what exploded?
What
and then all of a sudden, like, I was like, oh, there's, like, people there, you know, like...
Yes.
He gets fucking rescued by two people in, like, gas masks and...
Our lovely badass hero, Selena.
Oh my god,
and her sidekick, Mark, who lasts for a little bit.
Yeah.
It gets introduced with a joke that made me laugh.
Oh my god, yeah. They finally get to safety after killing all the zombies by blowing up a gas station. It's some cool stuff. I like that. I want to say really quick, the shot of blowing up the gas station...
Oh, it was done so well.
Like, all the different angles, and then, like...
The zoom out shot?
The zoom out of, like, being on a different, like, skyscraper almost, and seeing that from, like, such a big distance away in, like, the middle of the night with, like, the moonlight shining is, like, such a good fucking shot.
Oh, it's a wonderful shot.
Oh, I love it so much. Like,
did really well. And then they lock themselves in another gas station or a convenience store, hard to tell. I think it's a convenience store.
Yeah.
Mark introduces himself with a really shitty joke about a giraffe in a bar and how it's not a lion.
Yeah.
Made me laugh.
Yeah.
I could just hear my wife groaning. And be like, you're laughing at that, really?
It's a fucking dad joke for sure, but like, I'm here for it, honestly.
And then we skipped over the fact that I was groaning at the entire time. Jim is running with Mark and Selena, being like, what's happening? What's going on? Trying to ask them what's happening while they're actively being attacked by something, which is something that is a trope that happens all of the time. But if I was being chased by something that is inhuman trying to kill me, I don't think I would question the people trying to help me.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I could see it going either way. I could either be like, yeah, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and, like, get out of here, and then we'll figure out what's happening. But then also in the moment when you're panicking and, like, your adrenaline's at max, he doesn't even understand that they're infected people. Like, he just got chased by a bunch of motherfuckers from the church. A couple other dudes killed them by blowing up a fucking gas station. Like,
okay, maybe so my fear response is freeze. And so I think maybe it's just my fear response of, like, oh, someone tells me to go, I'm going, because otherwise I would just stand here and die.
Yeah, and see, I think it could be, like, again, for me, I think it could go either way. Like, I could either shut the fuck up, or I'd be like, no, I need to understand what's going on right now before I just lay on the ground and accept that I'm dying right here. You know what I mean?
That's
because
fair.
Like, at a certain point, my brain and, like, my instincts are just overloaded, and I'm like, I could just end this now and be done with all of this strife and anxiety and all of this bullshit immediately. Why should I push on? You know what I mean? Like,
okay, fair enough.
I could see myself asking those questions, but
he does then get his answers once they're safely put away.
No, they answer all the questions.
And drinking more Pepsi, because that's the first thing homie did when he woke up from his coma, was chug a damn Pepsi. And you know that shit was lukewarm because it was sitting on the hospital floor.
Oh my god.
There's Pepsi placement all over the place in this whole movie.
It's so
Mars
funny.
bars, Pepsi, 7-Up, like...
Yeah, they even, like, make him choose Pepsi over a different soda.
Oh, no, he chooses a Tango.
Oh, no.
He gets handed a Pepsi. It's a Pepsi or a Lit? I have no idea what that is.
Linton?
And then he asks for a Tango, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Which I think is fun, because she then goes to pull out a Tango, and like then they get chased. So
Tango's just like orange soda, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe. If it is, I want to try it because I love orange soda.
This is total sidewinder.
We're going off the rails.
I fucking love when it's not orange soda, but when it's like a tangerine soda.
Oh, like a mandarin soda?
Or yeah, like a mandarin soda.
The Doritos?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I'll fucking kill that shit any day.
Love those.
Anyways, Infected.
Yes, they give a lowdown of the last 28 days to Jim, and he's like, where's the government? They're always in a bunker, in a plane. And they're like, there's no government, man. Chill the fuck out. Like, we're just surviving.
We're all just fucked.
And he decides that he wants to go find his parents. And
yeah, which, you know, they actually, like, they oblige, and they, like, go with him to his parents' house. I appreciate, because I feel like in most other movies, the main character doesn't get to have that sort of closure. You know what I mean? Like, they just have to, like...
They assume the worst.
Yeah, like, they're thrust into the apocalypse, and then they just have to, like, accept the fact that their family's dead. they don't get to, like, go home and check half the time because they're like, no, that's far away, or like, no, we've got better shit to do. I just think it's interesting that, like, we do get to see the full extent of him, like, going home.
Oh,
and then,
hella
like,
agree.
being able to, like, actually, like, grieve through that kind of thing, because in an apocalypse setting, most of the time, you don't get to see characters grieve. World War Z, nobody gets to grieve, because Brad Pitt is just like, well, all right, like, we're just going, I guess, and, like, you know, so the entire fucking time.
I've not seen World War Z, so that's interesting to know. But I think that's a common trope in zombie movies specifically, and I think especially with, like, fast zombies, right? Because everyone wants to be on the move, and so I think you're correct. Like, I like the fact that he got a mourn, and I liked the fact that, like, they even talk about how his parents, like, they drugged themselves and died in their bed.
No, they
right?
set
and they got
up,
the gentle death.
Yeah, the environmental storytelling was done really well, because, like, nothing has to be said, but you know that the parents drugged themselves to die in their sleep, and they did so in a comfortable way in their house, and while also, like, remembering their son, who they thought was in a coma at the time.
And they wanted to let him die in a coma.
Yes, and that they wanted to just, like, join him, and, like, that in and of itself is, like, a whole fucking, like, really depressing, like, goddamn, wow, heavy-hitting shit.
The only thing that is weird to me is that they're definitely dressed for bed, and they don't have the blanket pulled on them.
Yeah.
It's rolled at the end of the bed, and, like, maybe they're just people who don't, like, sleep like that, but, like, if I was dying in my bed, I would snuggle into those blankies. I'd be all curled up.
Yeah.
And they're just, like, laying there half naked, and that's the only thing that threw me off. And I think it's movie-wise, it makes sense to show, how, like, the not mummification, they kind of look like mummies, but, like,
decomposition, or, like,
it would be decomp, but it's not like your normal decomp where they're, like, gooey and gunky.
No,
it's more mummification of, like, gaunt and gray.
Yeah, it's like the hollowness.
Yes.
They're, like, deep circles, and, like, just the blacks and everything filled out, and, like, the contours of, like, their cheeks and everything is, like, blackened and all that. Yeah, 100%.
It was super good, other than that thing, and that's just me nitpicking, but I just thought it was weird because Mom's not wearing pants. Yeah. And so I'm like, where are your blinkies?
Yeah. Again, I think they did a really good job with that. Then, of course, that's all quickly ruined because, holy shit, like, you just have this sudden, like, but Jim's in the fucking kitchen or something?
Yeah, so he goes down to the kitchen, so it's nighttime now. They decide to stay the night there because they only travel by daylight and they never travel alone. Those are the two rules they have. And so they all settle down in the kitchen. Jim has this flashback of him with his parents, and also, like, not to be that guy, but, like, how old is he living up with his parents still?
Honestly, I mean,
in this economy, I totally get it, but, like, it was just wild to me.
I think, honestly, it's hard to say because he could have been pretty young still, technically. Like, back then, people, 21, 22 looked older. So, like, I mean, dude, I'm approaching 30, and if I shave, I look like I'm 22. Or, like, 20 even. Like, I have fucking baby face.
That's fair. He does not, though.
No, Cillian Murphy does not.
He's not a baby face. But
he doesn't have baby dick either.
No.
But
it was just fun to me, especially because his bedroom's still decked out in, like, unframed posters and definitely looked like it should be a college kid's room, and I don't think he's meant to be a college student. But who knows? Maybe he was a college student. He did say he was a bike courier, so he could have been, and I'm just nitpicking how he looks for the age he's supposed to be playing.
No,
but they're in the living room. Everyone else is asleep after they kind of, like, Selena says it's a blessing that they died peacefully, and they go off on a whole thing, and we get to hear Mark's backstory and how he lost his family. And they don't say Selena's in the movie, but they do in the comic book. And she had to murder her mom, dad, and husband because they all got infected. I haven't read the comic books, but that's what I had read online, so if I'm wrong, blame the internet.
Interesting.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, and so that, like, hits even harder with her being like, oh, I'll kill anyone. Yeah. Like, she literally means it because she has already done it. Like, what the fuck do you mean to her if she already murdered her entire family?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Also, my question in this scene was, do you think Jim has survivor's guilt because it's his candle that he lights that draws the infected to the house that ends up killing Mark?
Maybe. That's a good question, because if he does, I don't think that they give us enough time to, like,
figure that
out. I mean, I guess you could, like, I don't think he has time to, because, again, like, they come in, like, the infected come in, and he, like, helps, they help get the infected off of Jim, but then, like, we cut over to Mark, and he's got a slash in his arm, and, obviously, the infected blood
got in it.
Got in him or whatever.
Or was bit. It looks like a gash in his arm, so it was hard for me to tell whether or not he got injured and blood got in it, or if he was bit or scratched or something. Well, that's
the other thing, is he may not have been infected.
And I think it's like a 90-10 chance he wasn't because of... There was so much blood everywhere, and he was bleeding out of that wound, and he was, like, wiping blood off.
Oh, no, blood was flying through the air and stuff. I'm almost for sure, positive that he was. It's just there is the chance that he wasn't.
He wasn't. And then Selena just fucking murders him with a machete, which, in this situation, is the worst weapon to have, where the blood is the thing that infects you, because you're swinging blood everywhere.
Yeah, that's a really messy tool.
To not be kicked. That's all I could think of while she was, like, slashing through his arm and blood was flying everywhere. And then she, like, tells Jim to change because everyone's covered in blood. I'm like, if you had a better weapon that wasn't, like, let me hack and slash you to bits and spray blood everywhere.
I didn't even think about that.
And then he has a baseball bat. Like, those are really bad weapons. They get blood everywhere.
Yeah, I mean...
And they're close combat blood, too. It's not, like, distance blood.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I think it could simply just be an oversight.
I mean, it makes it look really cool. I'm not going to bash it because it looks awesome when you see her fight with a machete and him with the baseball bat. Like, it's cool fighting. I just, like, logistically, as if I would put myself in this situation, it's also probably a really easy weapon to come across, especially in the UK where they don't have easy access to guns.
Yeah.
I guess what else would you use besides a knife or a baseball bat? But
that's like lightweight, does a decent amount of damage. Yeah.
So I guess, to be fair, you wouldn't have access to other weapons. It just feels bad.
Yeah.
Just flinging that much blood around.
I don't think Jim even has survivor's guilt because he doesn't have the time. They leave the house, like, right after he changes pretty much to, like, avoid, more infected coming.
They come across the Christmas lights.
Yeah, they see the Christmas lights in the giant apartment building. They go and inspect that, which I always thought it was super cool that there's just like a giant pile of shopping carts at like the...
Stacked up.
Yeah.
My only thing with that, I have problems with this movie apparently, because I keep saying like you say something cool and I'm like, I have an issue with this.
You're good.
My issue with this is they climb through the carts. They get over and through, meaning the infected can get over and through.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything about that?
Yeah, but it could also be a case of, like, maybe Jim and Selena, like, shifted some out of the way to, like, get into the tower or, like, mess with them a little bit and they just, like, didn't show that part. I don't know.
I was assuming, okay, because, like, Frank and Hannah, who we're about to meet, live in the apartment complex.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming it was obviously Frank who set that all up. And I can't see him leaving a gap like that. So they had to have shifted things. But, like, did they not shift it back?
Yeah,
That was my only thing with that. Because that was a little wonky. But,
yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, honestly...
Or I guess, like, because of how flaily the infected are, if they just, like, started, like, yanking things, I guess they could have taken it down, right? If they shifted stuff and even shifted it back, if it was shifted just enough to where you could, like, get movement, I could totally see the infected climbing up that and just, like, ripping things until they, like, came apart. So
yeah,
I guess...
and it was just more a matter of, like, Jim and Selena attracting infected to the building in the first place that could have, like... They do get to, we do finally get to meet Frank and Hannah, which...
The last of our adventuring party.
Yeah,
so far.
Frank's decked out in police stuff and like SWAT uniform at the top of the stairs and starts knocking zombies out the stairway.
The riot shield.
Yeah.
And he directs them to his flat, I guess.
Yeah, his apartment with his daughter Hannah.
Hannah's like, "Where's my dad?" And they're like, "Let us in." And Hannah's like, "Not without my dad. Where's my dad?" And like, good for her.
Yeah.
For her being like, I don't know who the hell you are.
Oh, no,
stranger danger, man. Like.
Yeah. No, luckily, like, they all get in pretty much without a hitch. And then, like, we have a little bit of relaxation, sort of, character building as far as, like, you meet, obviously, Frank and Hannah and learn, like, what they've been up to. And then they end up asking Jim and Selena if they want to help.
Go to the barricade.
Yeah, go to this, like, barricade that they've heard this radio signal.
Yeah, Frank has a radio that's, like, one of those wind-up radios that don't need batteries, and they hear the radio signal and realize it's a recording, so it's a 50-50 shot whether or not there's someone actually there. Yeah. And he didn't want to go alone with Hannah because if anything happened to him, she'd be all alone, and no dad is risking that shit. Yeah. But they are out of water, and so they don't really have a choice at this point.
Yeah, so they end up all packing up in the car.
In his cab, and he turns it on for a fare, which I think is such a dad move to just, like, try to make a lighthearted situation out of it, right? He's like, I don't accept credit card or checks. Yeah. As he turns on the fare in the cab. That's great. And that cab looks phenomenal. I would not mind traveling in that. They have so much space in that cab.
Oh, no, and then they, like, show in the rearview mirror, you see, like, all of them in the back seat, like Jim, Hannah, and Selena, and behind them is just a giant thing of snacks everywhere. You're like, oh yeah, like, they're in for a fucking road trip.
Oh yeah, and then we see a little family road trip type dealio. Yeah. They kind of, like, get to travel and do some stuff. Again, very reminiscent of the Zombieland style of, like, I should say this probably influenced Zombieland because Zombieland was later. But, like, you kind of get that vibe of, like, a bunch of randos who didn't know each other trying to make, like, a found family because there's no one else in existence. Yep. And they go through the tunnel. Yeah. So this is Jim's only good idea so far, where he's like, we should not go through the tunnel. How about we go the long way? And everyone's like, nah, we'll be fine. And Jim the entire time was like, I was right. Like, y'all didn't listen to me, as they get a flat tire.
Yeah, driving over a bunch of garbage and bullshit and broken glass and probably, like, so much shit.
In a pile of cars. And, like, I mentioned this. How tall is that tunnel? Because we have a tunnel where we live, and it is not tall. Like, I feel like semis barely make it into that tunnel. But they drive a full cab over at least one car height and don't hit the top of it.
I feel like two cars worth of height wouldn't be like... Is that
semi-height? I don't know. It was hard because there's so much debris. It was hard to tell how much stuff was stacked on top of each other.
All that you know is that it's a bad fucking idea.
Because they, like, launch themselves and then land and get a flat tire.
Yeah, they get a fucking flat tire, and lo and behold, like, we were like, all right, like, you better fucking get at it. Guess what? As they're trying to put the new tire on, fucking, you see, like, a shit... Well, first Jim's like, wait, do you hear that? And then they just all stop. They're all just you know what? Let's just all stop to figure out what's going on.
I hated this part so much because he's like, wait, listen. It's like, no, don't. You and one other person wait and look. Well, Hannah and Frank changed the tire because they already got that situation figured out.
Do something.
And they all stop to listen and then get swarmed by rats. Yeah. And so everyone's screaming and freaking out because rats.
Yeah. Well, Hannah's under the car, so
it gets
understandably
run over by rats.
Like, rats are, like, running all around her and shit, which I'd be freaking out at that point too. But, like, why are there rats running? Duh, because there's so many infected. You just see, like, the shadows of, like, so many infected that you know are going to be turning the corner of this tunnel, like, any fucking second.
And this is the scene that freaked you out as a kid, right? Like,
dude,
this was the
scene? I had nightmares because of this scene specifically. Like, you don't even, in the initial shot, you don't even see the infected themselves. You just see the shadows, like, getting bigger and, like, moving, and you know that they're getting closer to the fucking corner. That shit gave me fucking nightmares as a kid. Like,
oh yeah, and then they forego the jack because Frank is like, no time, everyone grab the side of the car and we're gonna hold it so Hannah can change the tire.
3 adults at, like, maximum adrenaline definitely could probably lift a small taxi in that scenario.
It was just wild to me because it was like Hannah had already said she had it jacked up. She's like, oh, got it. And, like, had it jacked up already. And he's like, no time for the jack. Yeah. That's already in place, apparently.
Yeah. But I mean, they do end up They get away last second. Like,
and then we jump on the montage of a family road trip.
It becomes a bit more Zombieland, which, again, this is probably where Zombieland got some of its inspiration from, because they literally stop in a grocery store and, like, do their little shopping run, and then they all fill up on their snacks, and of course the dad gets the fancy bottles of alcohol, and
which come into play later. Did you know that?
How so?
Those are the bottles offered to them by the Major at the house.
You're joking.
No, it's the same. So, like, we'll get to that later. I'll bring it back up.
You know what? That makes fucking sense too. Okay, we'll get there soon because it's already almost 40 minutes in, and I don't even know if we're halfway through the movie.
Enough, maybe.
Maybe? I don't know. Well, there's certain things that, like...
Like, there's a time limit on our podcast.
Yeah, that's true, honestly.
But they do the whole shopping trip, and then they travel the countryside, I guess.
They
like,
get
just
to
out
finally,
of London.
like, they get to, well, I should say they stop at, like, a little diner / like, rest area to get, like,
They siphon
gas.
some gas.
Yeah, they siphon some gas, and then, like, Jim goes into the restaurant to, like, try and find anything. I think he makes a joke about a fuck burger or something.
Yeah.
But he goes in there, and crazy enough, you actually see a woman and her baby, like, laying on the ground, and, like, you see the baby just, like, fucking dead with his mouth open.
Really?
Yeah, where you might have been typing your notes.
Oh, I could have been.
Because, like, I thought, like, you know, they must have blurred it on TV or something, because I don't remember seeing that, but, like, you just straight up see, like, a dead woman and her baby on the floor. Like, she's, like, clutching her baby in her hands.
Oh, damn.
And Jim's like, oh my fucking god. And then he, like, turns around.
Oh, you're right. No, that's what he was looking at. That's why he was distracted. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's, like, staring at this. Yeah, he, like, is staring at this woman and child, like, baby. And then this fucking child just, like, comes out of nowhere, silent as hell, and just, like, gets so close to him. He turns around at the last fucking second and, like,
baseball bat.
He fucking kicks his kid to the ground and puts his foot on his chest. But, I mean, you know, this kid's infected. He's, like, raged the fuck out. And I thought it was very interesting because if you pay attention in the captions, which the captions could have been written by someone who doesn't fucking know, obviously. But, like, if someone who did the captions was, like, working on the movie, it said, I hate you. Like, the kid was saying, I hate you. Which adds to the fact that it's, like, not a, like, flesh-eating virus
like your
type
standard
thing.
zombie type thing.
It's just, like, something that makes you so rageful, you know, like...
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And, it could have just been, like, the kid making a noise and someone...
Well, it could have also been taken out of the script, too, because sometimes with the subtitles, they'll just use the script.
Yeah.
And if it got taken out of the movie and they had a bum script, like, that's what they have. Because, like, you can see that with some other movies you'll see behind the scenes or whatever of, like, oh, we changed that line, but the line is still in the movie or in the captions or whatever.
But unfortunately, this is Jim's first kill. This is his first ever time killing someone.
Oh my god, it is.
So it, like, makes it, like, extra fucked up because, like,
a kid.
he's never, like, he didn't kill the priest with the soda cans. He just ran after knocking him to the ground.
They've just been running this whole time.
He's just been running this whole time. And so, like, for him to...
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me because, like, Jim's character is so, like, monotone as a human that, like, when something actually affects him, it's a little hard for me to tell.
Yeah. No, it's, so that'll come into play actually kind of soon. They end up, you know, getting back in the car, they get the gas and everything, they go off, and they actually have, like, a good night where they can all, like, they have a picnic. Yeah, they get to sit and, like, eat a bunch of stuff. And,
eat some fruit for the first time in weeks.
Eat fruit and, like, actually be able to, like, enjoy some shit, enjoy some fresh air. You see some horses running, like, out in the field, which is cool, because that's, like,
he says and Frank is like, oh, yeah, they're definitely not infected. But, like, the virus was passed on from chimps. So, like, it cross species. So that was something interesting. Like, I know, like, symbolically it's really nice for the movie, but, like, logistically, I'm curious about, like, that.
Horses are faster than humans. You just outrun
maybe that's what it is. Like, they could get infected, but because they run so fast, they wouldn't get... Like, they're obviously not infected.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that Frank was automatically like, no horses be infected here.
Yeah.
But it could just be because they're really fast.
Yeah.
They all take Valium, besides Frank, to go to bed that night.
Everyone takes Valium.
And Hannah gets half.
Yeah.
Because she gets to live a little.
Yeah. Jim has a nightmare.
And then he calls Frank Dad out of his nightmare. And I don't know if it's, like, groggy him or if he's just like, yes, Frank be Dad now. Because it could go either way.
Yeah, I'd like to think... Well, I shouldn't say I'd like to think. I think it's the drugs, probably, is what they were insinuating. Is like, yeah, he took fucking Valium, so he's gonna be like, oh, thanks, Dad. You know?
Yeah, it was the way it was said for me. Because, like, the first time I didn't think about it, I was like, oh, he's just drugged out. The second time, it's just, like, the almost, like, teasing hint in his voice of, oh, like, thanks, Dad. Like,
oh, yeah.
So
he could be teasing him, too. Like,
it's unclear. I just thought it was cute either way, where he just calls Frank Dad.
Yeah.
And they get back home. They don't get back home. They get back in the cab the next morning, on the way to the barricade. They keep listening to the broadcast, right? And the first time I listened to it, it wasn't bad. It was just like, yeah, they're trying to give you as much information in the broadcast as possible. But this time, you catch it. Salvation is here. The cure, like, we have a cure. All of this stuff. They're all very specific buzzwords.
The cure, they say the cure for infection.
Yes, we have the cure for infection. Salvation is here. We need you to come here.
Yeah.
And so it's all of these bunch of buzzwords that, like, for me, salvation, I automatically think of, like, Abrahamic religions that are always like, oh, like, you need to be saved type deal. Like, this is your salvation. And so you just get all of these buzzwords that, obviously people are going to be drawn in by them. And it just, like, gave me heebie-jeebies as they were listening to it in the car. I was like, why are they using that language specifically? And, like, saying the cure is there is really wild. Because it's not. You know the cure isn't there because they've traveled from London through Manchester to wherever. And I don't actually know how far that is. Like, I don't know how far London is from Manchester. That could be 4 hours for all I know, or 8. Like,
I have no clue.
I have no idea in the grand scheme of things how far they've been traveling to get here, but, like, it's just, you've seen, like, Manchester is literally burned to the ground. Yeah. And London was empty besides infected, and so it's just like, there's no way you have a cure, and they should know that, but it's the desperation to get to someone else, to get to something else, right? And especially driven by Frank, because he's like, I just need to get my daughter somewhere safe.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, you know, they finally arrive at this, like, barricade, and you can see there's, like, empty military vehicles, and, like, there's even a helicopter there, but, like, there's no fucking people around. It's just, like,
the mess hall is empty.
Tents, like the mess hall's empty. It's just like,
with food still on the plate, so it seemed like they ran out to do something or whatever. Yeah. Because it looked like people should have been around there, besides the trucks being parked in, like, nonsensical areas. Yeah. But it's empty.
Frank loses his shit because, again, like, as far as he knows, he's lost his only hope to, like, save his daughter. And
I think his reaction is super valid. Yeah. Like, he loses his mind, and he's so angry because, like, in his mind, this is the only thing he had to protect his daughter. And, like, I could totally see my dad reacting this way as well, just being fucking angry and, like, just screaming at everything. Like, his plan didn't go to plan.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our boy Frank, he decides to take his anger out on a crow that's picking at a dead body hung up in, like, the
pole?
Yeah.
What are they called? It starts with an F. And you use them for construction. Those are all words. He's on a pole.
Scaffolding, maybe.
Like a scaffolding.
He's like, this dead body's hanging on something. Anyways, Frank decides to pick a fight with the bird, and he kicks the gate.
He kicks something, he looks up and gets blood in his eyeball.
Yeah, fucking blood drips down off the body and right into his eyeball. Which
one, ow. Yeah. Like, I hate things in my eyes. I could not imagine getting blood in my eye.
Yeah, but of course, right after that happens, Hannah walks around the corner and she's like, oh, Dad, like, everything's fine. And he's like, oh, I love you, Hannah. I love you so much. And she's like, what's going on? And then he does, like, the getaway, and then he starts pretty much turning, because it's a very fast process.
We have been told 10 to 20 seconds,
so... and, of course, like, Jim and Selena come running because they hear Frank screaming at Hannah, and they obviously, like, see that Frank is... Turning, and so Selena's screaming at Jim to just fucking kill him.
Because she grabs Hannah. Hannah's going after her dad, trying to get close to him, and Selena's like, nope, barricade it.
And Selena's screaming, like, at Jim at the top of her lungs, like, fucking kill him, like, oh my god, kill him. And Jim's, like, panicking, because, again, Frank. He's sitting there, like, I can't kill Frank, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Jim finally goes to swing, and before the bat hits Frank...
Gets shot 3 times in the chest.
Frank gets shot, and you're like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden you look and there are men in
fatigues,
camo and gas masks popping out of the bushes and from out of, like, the rafters. And they're all taking pop shots at Frank. And, of course, Hannah's losing it.
They take him.
The military is here. Oh my god, they were actually here the whole time.
See, this is the part that this is the part where besides the radio transmission of me being heebie-jeebied out by what they were saying in it, they separate them from their car.
Yeah.
That part I did not like, because they were, like, in the back of one of the trucks, right? Like, open-top trucks. And they're guarding them like they're prisoners. Mm-hmm. Because they have one at the top and one in the back, both holding guns, and someone else is driving their car. And I'm like, why the fuck couldn't they just follow you in their car? Yeah. Like, why did you separate them like that? True. That's wild. And so this is, like, the point where I'm like, something's off here, and I don't like it.
Yeah. No, 100%. And then, like, you get to this, like, giant mansion, and it's fortified with, you know, barbed wire and, you know, gates and lights, and they have all the, like, military stuff.
Turrets. And...
Yeah, everything's set up for, like, fortifications. We finally arrive at this place, and, like, the major is, like...
He's villain-coded in, like, a Disney way. Because, like, as soon as Jim goes to talk to him, he's sitting in this chair, looking out over the sprawling garden. Yeah. Like, he should just be sipping on some tea, being like, oh, I'm not planning anything nefarious.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
Yeah.
Weird to begin with.
It is weird.
And then he says something about, like, oh... Our top mission is to survive, and our second mission is to rebuild. And anytime a man says rebuild, I know sex is involved, because they want to repopulate. And I'm like, oh no, something bad is going to happen to Selena and Hannah.
Yeah, and... oh, God.
This is where it starts going... I get so angry from this point forward.
Yes, because it's literally just like... At first, you know, they even, like... kind of set it up to where you could even question if these people are actually like real military personnel.
Yes, and I question that so much. And so what I finally came to, so we see the reason you start questioning it is because they have like weird archetypes. So like you have the one cook guy who's always in an apron and he's in charge of cooking and like all of this stuff. And it feels like if you got your group of friends together and said, we're a military now, everyone pick a role.
You have like the leader, and then you have like, again, like the cook, and then you have the dude who hates everyone else in the group but just like sits like feral.
The philosopher guy, or
yeah, is he the
which one? Are you talking about the one who like the blonde guy who does everything terrible, or are you talking about the guy who tries to protect Jim?
The guy who tries to protect Jim.
Yeah, so they call him the New Age guru.
Yeah.
So he's like all about philosophy and being like, we're going back to normalcy because before humans that was normal, so it's not changing. And
yeah, he's like, humans have only been around for like the blink of an eye in terms of like all of existence. So like humans going away is going back to normality and all this stuff, and like...
And none of them seem to have the military, like, vibe about them. And maybe it's... I don't know anything about the Brits and how their military works, but it definitely would not be how an American military, like, platoon would work.
Yeah.
And so what I finally came to is these are all the fucking cowards that ran.
Yeah. When
these are the people who joined because they thought it'd be cool, and then when shit got real, they fucking hid. Yeah. And that is what I came to on why they suck. Because later, they end up all having dinner together. That's why you kind of get introduced to everybody. And then infected attack. And so you get to see them like run to the turrets, run to everything, and they suck.
Yeah.
They waste so much ammo, and then when the cook guy makes a kill, and he's like, "Did you see that? Did you see that? I got one." And they're like, "Keep shooting."
Yeah.
So that is what I came to the conclusion to. They're just the bottom of the barrel fucking idiots.
Yeah, 100%. The whole scene with them like all shooting at the fucking infected, running on the lawn and stuff. That is another one that creeped me the hell out as a kid. Like, I don't know why, but just like seeing all of the silhouettes like just come out of the darkness and like sprinting towards you. That's fucking terrifying.
You have a thing with silhouettes.
Yeah, I think things sprinting at me. Yeah, and silhouettes. I think it's fair.
Mine is voice changing. Any weird voice augmentation.
Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of the audio stuff either. Which this movie does a really good job with its creepy fucking audio between like the wailing like screams and like the like.
The soundtrack, like the scoring that was done for this movie, was also phenomenal.
Yeah, dude.
I think it was done really well.
Oh my god, that reminds me, like, I didn't even mention this, but like when they're running up the stairs, or when the zombies are sprinting up the stairs in the apartment complex, and Frank is like knocking them off the stairs, that entire time they're doing the rising score, but it's with like a metal guitar.
Really?
And it's like, I thought it was super interesting because like they use that like heavy metal guitar throughout it because that gives off a more like angry like vibe to it. Yeah. So like when they do the rising tones with that guitar, it's like an angry like, oh my god, like it's I just thought it was super interesting.
That's so cool. I love that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't believe I forgot to talk about that earlier. But anyways. Oh, we didn't mention, what's his name? Miller?
Maller.
No. Malor?
Malor? So one of their...
Mailer.
One of their soldiers got bitten 2 days ago, and they have him chained up in a courtyard in this giant mansion, and the general major guy, I can't remember, I think he's a major, is like, he's teaching me so much.
Yeah, wanted to learn about the infection.
He's telling me that he'll never plant wheat again, and that he doesn't have a future. And eventually he'll tell me how long it takes infected to die.
Yeah, to starve to death. Yeah.
And freaking Jim's just staring at between the two like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
Well, oh my god. And it doesn't even take that long before we find out what's happening either. Like, we have a nice little,
it's like... literally the next part that happens.
Well, like, we have the little moment between Jim and Selena when they're like, they kiss, because...
God, yeah.
They're both struggling, because, like, Jim's like, well, what do we do with Hannah? And Selena's like, why don't we let her, like, mourn her fucking dad dying? She can't even do that. And, like, Jim's like, well, none of us get to. And Selena's like, yeah, that's the fucking problem, isn't it? And you're like, oh my god, she's right.
This is the first time, too, that we see Selena break down. This entire time, she's been stoic, she's been heroic, she's been on her game. And then as soon as Hannah is, like, asleep, I wonder if she gave her more Valium, is asleep, because she doesn't wake up in any of this, right? She's literally sleeping a couch away from them having this conversation. She breaks down and says all this stuff, and, like, total mama bear, like, to a T, is, like, her entire purpose right now is to protect Hannah. Mm-hmm. And I love that about her character. Yeah. But, like, Jim kisses her, and I thought it was really awkward. They had a little bit of a vibe going on earlier on their little picnic. She kisses his cheek. Yeah. But, like, she's crying, and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I'm a full on the mouth kiss you. Yeah. Let's make out. And then she's like, bitch, and gets up and walks out.
Yeah.
And then this is, I guess, where it happens. Yep. Jim goes and talks to the major, and this is where the alcohol comes back. They raided their fucking car. This is the same alcohol that Frank picked up from the grocery store that he offers to Jim.
And it makes sense, because we do have that scene where the guys are, like, driving the car in circles around the dude with the grocery bags, being like, come on, I want to go cook already. And they're, like, fucking with him with their car. Like they took it from him. Like they confiscated, you know, that shit from them. Yep. I didn't even think about that until you said it. So when I'm thinking about this scene, I'm like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, they confiscated all of their fucking shit and decided that it was theirs. And I don't know if it's because, like, I've seen so many horror movies and disaster movies that's exactly what always happens, is when you try to go help at, like, a military base, they take all of your shit and fuck you over. Yeah. And so if that ever happens in real life, I'm never going to a military base. Not happening. I'm gonna get raped and my shit's gonna get taken.
Yeah, honestly. No.
But in the scene is where the major tells Jim, my lieutenant had his gun in his mouth and was gonna shoot himself and blah blah blah, and so I promised him women, because women make everything better. Like, they're fucking objects, and he can just toss them out to whoever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, when he's like, these boys need a future, and women will provide them with that. And it's like, excuse me? I'm sorry, okay, again, this also plays into, I don't think these guys are real military men, because a commanding officer with a lower acting, you know...
subordinate.
Subordinate would be like, why the fuck are you, like, get your shit together. It's not about women. It's not about, like, pull that fucking gun out of your mouth and, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be like, oh, my boy's suffering, let's get his dick wet. Like, that's not how, that's not how the military works.
And that's why...
And he just caved. He immediately caved. He didn't even, like, yeah, man, I tried to tell him, but, like, they just want bitches so bad, like...
So, actually, that leads into my point, though. I have a point on this later, and you actually just, like, help prove it. So, because the CO, commanding officer here, is like, I promised them this, and I'm gonna get them this because my boys deserve it, right? And he's making it sound like he's above it. Yeah. That he's, like, mightier than thou, and, like, I don't want this. Yeah. They want that. And it goes through a whole thing.
Jim immediately tries to go get
thank you. I couldn't remember how... Yes.
Jim literally is like, oh no, fuck you, dude, and literally sprints to Selena and Hannah, grabs both of them, and they start sprinting down the stairs, running out, and then unfortunately...
they get stopped.
Jim gets clocked in the face, and
Selena gets like, freaking manhandled, and then they're like, we're gonna kill you, and then the guru man is like, don't fucking touch them, what the hell is wrong with you? He's pointing his guns at everyone, and everyone besides him is like, no, we're gonna rape these bitches.
Which is also... one other thing that, interestingly enough, plays into the other hand, because everyone had referred to him as an acting commander at the, like, or
he
like
was their
a higher,
sergeant.
yeah.
So he would have been second in command if it was major sergeant, and then they were all underneath him.
And so, like, the fact that, like, they had sort of been keeping up with that hierarchy still kind of makes me do believe that, like, they could have been part of the military, but I do think that's where, like, the director did want to be, like, ambiguous about it, because that's kind of like, he doesn't want you to know, are these guys, like, truly military? Because, like, it's the unknown. You don't know for sure, and that's what's scary about it.
It is very scary. Well, then our poor guru sergeant and Jim get handcuffed to radiators while the girls get taken to the primary bedroom and forced into dresses because they need to clean up, which, oh my god, just heebie-jeebies, ew. I hate every single one of them besides the guru, right? Then Jim and Sergeant get taken to a body area.
It's like a ditch just with dead bodies and stuff.
Where they clean up the lawn. And the sergeant here is like, you're going to stick your sergeant, because he puts his freaking bayonet on his gun and is going to stab him to death. Yeah,
he was just going to stab his sergeant, and then, like, the cook kid that, like, came with was like, no, dude, shoot him. Like, what the fuck?
It's faster. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then the cook, like, freaks out and
ends up shooting the guru and just fucking dropping him there.
Freaking trigger finger, because there's no way. This kid has never seen action a day in his life.
No.
He has zero control over his gun or anything.
None.
And anyways, he freaks out on the guy who was going to kill the sergeant. Has been a creep this entire time. Have not liked him. He's been weird.
Dickhead.
And then he jumps on the cook and is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You could have shot me. And in this point, Jim hides in all of the dead bodies, and they think he ran. And my question next is, how the hell did he scale that stone wall with barbed wire with his hands handcuffed? What the fuck? And he lost his shirt? He was handcuffed. How did the shirt come off of him if he was handcuffed? It was a long sleeve shirt.
At this point, you know, Jim straight up just becomes an animal. So, like, I think that's where my brain, like, doesn't question it, because I'm just like...
This is the last part I question, because then Jim goes feral.
Yeah.
This is because as soon as he leaves here, he you can see it in his face.
Yeah.
Face changes, he's feral. But like logistics.
Yeah, no.
Like a long sleeve shirt ain't coming off your body like that. And he, in my opinion, should have been cut up more, because that was razor wire.
Yeah.
Like straight up, like he would have been cut to shit.
He got over that wall with minimal abrasions. I mean, he does escape, which is crazy, but like cut back to like the mansion and stuff, and like the ladies are in dresses and they're just like sitting around. It's fucking weird.
Oh, we did skip over the part where while they were getting changed, Celine totally drugs Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
Drugs the shit out of her, and Hannah's like, are you trying to kill me? And she's like, I'm trying to get you to not care. Not once has Selena not cared about Hannah. Like, even in this moment, is shoving pills down her throat to help numb her from the terror she's about to go through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Oh, but this is my point. Yo, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think they're getting dressed while the major is, like, going out to, like, investigate the sirens at that point.
No, so they're getting dressed while Jim's getting taken out.
Okay.
So them getting dressed while the major goes out is when they're sitting on the couch.
Okay.
And this is my point, is that when the major leaves, they don't instantly rape the girls. They follow chain of command.
Yeah.
He was in on it.
He was gonna, yeah.
He wanted it just as bad as the rest of them did, and he was pretending to be mightier than thou. Because they don't touch them until the major comes back.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god. That is fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, because major leaves and they're like, hands off, like, bitches be waiting.
Holy shit. That is fucking mind-blowing.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. That's fucking crazy. Well, yeah. Jesus Christ. Well, Major ends up having to leave because...
Jim makes the sirens go off at the barricade. Why do they care?
Jim's at the barricade, making the sirens go off. I'm assuming they care because they don't want the sound to attract a shit ton of...
But the whole point of where they are is that it's far enough away from the barricades that they're not going to get mobbed.
I guess, yeah, they're like a 15-minute drive home.
They're a bit of a drive away, so I wasn't... Unless it's, like, pure revenge of, like, one got away.
It's probably, like, he could tell any other survivor that, like, don't go there, they're fucking rapists, you know? And then, like, fair. Their plans would fall apart completely.
Yeah,
like,
because if you haven't picked up on this point, the whole point of their broadcast was to lure women and to rape them.
Yes. Literally, the broadcast was to get women to come to the compound so that the men could just have them. Yeah, no, it's fucking gross.
Anyways, everyone, or half of them run off, 3 of them?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. There's like a handful. There might be 8 of them altogether. But 3 of them branch off and go to the barricade, is what I was saying.
Is it
it's
3
the major,
or is it just 2?
It's the major.
And
they
the
say his
driver.
name. I can't remember his name. And then I thought there was one more guy because one of them dies on the stairs, right? Isn't there 3?
The dude dies on the stairs.
And then he kills the driver on the ground. So I thought there was 3 unless I'm getting those 2.
Oh, yeah, no, I guess, yeah.
So
no, yeah.
he kills 2 of them. Major survives, and then books it back once he realizes his 2 subordinates are dead. Books it back to the mansion.
Yeah.
And this whole time, it's heavily, heavily fucking raining. And Jim looks feral. And the fact that he is so skinny makes me think of just like a feral cat.
Dude, yeah.
Just like a wet feral cat.
But he's like crawling around the fucking mansion at this point. And it's nighttime and like all these guys are just like waiting around for their major to come back. And like he ends up shooting the chain off of Mailer, the zombie that's in the courtyard.
Yes.
And they did not lock the door to the outside courtyard because I guess they were just like, he's chained up, it's fine. Like, we don't need to lock the door or anything to out there. So Mailer just gets to, like, go into the fucking mansion and
start causing havoc.
Starts causing havoc. And because none of these guys are, like, smart enough or actually military trained to
handle
an actual
anything,
extent, each of them get fucking picked off and turned.
To be fair, the cook tried, but his gun somehow jammed, ?
Yeah.
He literally tries to shoot and it's not working, and then he watches one of his buddies get murdered in front of him.
Yeah.
And then he gets murked. And then the only 2 left now are the creepy blonde, and then he's got the, like, Russian hat on. I don't know any of their names.
Yeah.
Because I hate all of them.
Yeah.
They don't matter.
You just like to... You recognize their faces and are happy to see them die.
Exactly.
That's why my brain is like, they all get turned one after another, and, like, you literally see Jim, like, peeking around through windows, like, watching these people get eaten. One thing I will say, though, is during this time, there is, like, a point where you see Jim, like, duck into, like, a hidden door in, like, the walls.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, first of all, that's so fucking cool because it's like a flash of lightning that you, like, see him and then, like, you know, you can tell that he ducks behind that hidden doorway.
Right.
And then the 2 other infected run in and they're looking around and it's creepy as fuck. But also, how the fuck did he know that there was a hidden door there?
Yeah, maybe that's how he got into the... No, because he comes in through a broken window, doesn't he? He comes in how... Well, because Mailer breaks a window, and that scene is really fucking cool, because there's, like, a flash of lightning, and then you just look behind Mailer, or look behind the guy, and there's Mailer's red fucking eyes and breaks through the glass. I love that scene so much.
So cool.
It's the turning point of me being happy again.
Yes.
Watching all of these fuckers die.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, Jim's just being a feral beast, literally picking off the people that Mailer and the other infected aren't getting to get to Celine. And Celine and Hannah are separated at the moment because the blonde guy tried to rape Selena.
Yes.
We keep saying Selena. And so he takes her away and tries to rape her, and she's fighting him off because she's a badass, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then Jim sneaks in, beats him up, shoots him, does whatever, and then him and Selena kiss, and they're both happy. And then Hannah comes up and smashes a bottle on Jim's head because she thinks he's biting Selena.
Oh my god.
She's so drugged out of her mind, too. This whole time, she's just, like, doesn't give a shit. She's just like, no one's coming back, everyone's dead.
She's like, don't worry about me, I feel great.
We're good here.
Yeah.
And Selena's like, oh my god. And then Jim's like, is she high? And she's like, don't worry about it. It's fine, don't worry.
Oh god.
Oh, I love Hannah. Hannah deserves everything good in life.
Yeah. Well, they end up going down and getting to the taxi, right?
Yep, down into the taxi, and they're getting chased by infected, and is the Major still alive at this point?
Yeah, he's in the back of the taxi.
That's right.
And Hannah ends up in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Hannah's driving.
And she ends up backing the taxi into, like, the entrance of the mansion, where Mailer runs up and breaks the back window and rips the fucking Major out of the car. And then she just drives up and picks up fucking Jim and Selena.
Oh, it's so cool. She's, to be fair, if you haven't figured this out, she's like 15.
Yeah.
She's a teenager.
I don't think we mentioned that she is
Well, she's living with her dad. I assumed, I don't know. I just assumed the way we were talking about her, it makes sense that she is a teenager max, I would say max 17.
Yeah.
No
because
older.
we talked about, like, they all took Valium, but she only got half.
Because Papa said no.
Yeah, Papa said nay.
And so they run towards the gate, or are driving towards the gate, and the gate is padlocked, and she's like, what do I do? And they're like, fucking floor it.
Just
and she
fuck
floors it into the gate, and then it...
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame, thank you. Because they ran out of money.
Really?
Literally, production came out and said, fucking stop, we have no more money.
Oh my god. So
that was the last thing they filmed for a hot second because they ran out of money.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
So it's worked out really well. I don't know if it was planned that way, but that was like the last thing they filmed, so they just put a freeze frame there because they didn't have a connected scene to it.
That's crazy.
Also, my fun fact that I had found out about this scene specifically is they were using a real chain, I think, to padlock the gate, and there was a safety issue. And so one of the crew was like, give me a second, came back with the chain completely made out of gummy bears melted down and spray painted silver to look like a chain. And like I only saw that one spot and I couldn't find the source for it again because I did research on this movie ages ago. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was really fun. And they're like, no more safety issue. It's gummy bears.
That's so great.
Freeze frame. And then we continue on with the movie and it's Jim in the hospital with Selena being like, you have to survive. And I think because there are 3 different endings to this movie. You know this, yes?
No.
There were 3 differently planned endings for this movie.
Wait, what?
So the ending we have is obviously the ending that they ended with, but there are 1, Jim dies. 2, Jim dies giving a blood transfusion to Frank, which I think this is what it was filmed for. I think the scene of him in the hospital was them filming that ending already.
Damn.
And so I think that's why it's like a weird hospital thing of like, Jim, you have to survive, and that's why Jim's injured, because I think they used footage from that one because I think that was the original, if I remember correctly, that was the original ending they were going to go with, that he dies giving a blood transfusion to Frank, and it kind of cuts out that whole military section.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so I think that was the original ending, but then the director was like, hope went better with the crowd. So they ended up doing what they did, which was Frank, it seems like Frank is going to go into a coma. Not Frank, sorry. Jim is going to go into a coma again. Mm-hmm. And then he wakes up and he's in bed and he's staring at the sun streaming in through this little bedroom window. And he's like, not the fucking curtains. And it seems totally normal. He gets up, throws a little, what do Brits call him, jumper? Yeah. Throws a little jumper on. And Selena's in the kitchen sewing on one of those hand crank sewing machines.
Hell yeah, like a boss.
Oh yeah, she figured her shit out. And Hannah's outside, comes running in because she saw a jet.
She heard a jet.
She heard a jet.
She's like, oh my god, grab it. Grab the thing. And you're like, oh, what's happening? They run this like giant bunch of sewed together sheets out there. And you're like, you could be like, what's going on? But like... I
thought it was going to say help. I thought they were going to write out help. Instead, in giant, like, fabric letters, it says hello, and they're all waving to I found this out too, it's a Finnish plane, not an American plane.
Interesting.
The pilot is speaking in Finnish, and in Finnish he says, I need a helicopter.
Damn, that's crazy.
So they totally did get seen, and they were going to get saved. And I also think it's fun, because Jim starts out this whole thing by saying hello, and then it ends with them saying hello to a pilot.
Damn, that's cool.
The movie was almost called Hello.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting as fuck.
Yeah, and then he was like, it gave off the wrong vibe, so we changed it.
Yeah, no, I think 28 Days Later is, like, perfect. Especially because, I mean, now it's its own, like...
own little franchise with a graphic novel, comic book series, and a third... I was going to say sequel, but I don't know. The third installment out. And like we said last week, we are going to continue on the 28 Days series and do 28 weeks later. Next week.
I can't wait to watch that garbage.
We have so many issues with that movie. We've already talked about it. I think it is my least favorite out of all of them.
Yeah.
I have so many questions, so many issues. At least the military is ran better in this one. Slightly. Because I have... we'll talk about it next week. But that's how it ends.
Again, what a fantastic movie. My words could not do it any sort of justice. Like, you just have to watch it, and you have to experience, like, the audio and, like, just the quick cuts and, like, the jarring edits and like you just have to witness it for yourself.
This movie is credited with revitalizing the entire zombie movie genre. Like, this is the movie that brought it back, and he was heavily inspired by Night of the Living Dead and like those classic zombie flicks, except his zombies were modeled after the Resident Evil game zombies because of them being fast. He's like, slow zombies are weird. We're going fast infected. Yeah. And then he said the thing that freaked him out the most is like conserving your ammo. And like that anxiety of like, am I going to be able to get through the next step?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Which obviously those fucking incompetent soldiers didn't have.
No.
Oh, I'm glad they're dead. Yeah. It's very infrequent that I say I'm glad people are dead in movies, but god damn.
It's a very satisfying ending to a very terrifying movie.
Yes, and they all look so happy, and everyone, my whole thing is like, they all need therapy, obviously. But poor Hannah, because not only, her mom has been dead. It's unclear whether or not her mom died pre or during the pandemic. Wow. The epidemic of the infected. Yep. But her mom's been dead, so it's just been her and her dad. She just watched her dad turn, get shot, almost got raped, got drugged, and it is now in the care of two people she doesn't even fucking know.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to her after all of this?
What is life?
And I guess, like, there's the whole saying that kids are, like, super resilient and can, like, are easier to bounce back from things, but, like, she's still a teenager. Like, she's gonna go her whole life remembering watching her dad get shot and, like, all this kind of stuff. And I always delve too much into the psychology of the trauma of the movie towards the end, and I wish we had a psychologist on call that we could be like, hey, answer our questions. I'm sure there's a podcast about that somewhere.
Oh, I get it, dude. Honestly, if we ever get famous enough, we'll just need to, like, get a fucking psychologist on here, you know?
All of our friends do really cool shit, but none of our friends do that.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll figure it out. But great.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and threads at No Cell Service Pod. Until next time.